golf season is quickly approaching. In fact, I would say golf season is officially here. It was introduced. It was came barreling into everybody's lives this past weekend with maybe the best golf tournament we've ever witnessed. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot more from Bryson's comments afterwards about Rory not speaking to him. We talk about the context of Rory's win. We talk a lot about Rory's final round and how we're kind of coming to terms with it. Some of Rory's comments and interviews since. We got new merchandise. We got a lot going on. Trent's at the RBC Heritage. So it's a great show, and it's all brought to you, Frankie, by our lovely friends, our presenting sponsors at Chevrolet.
Chevrolet always coming through for us on the road. We love getting in our Chevys. We had the Chevy Tahoe with the 17.7-inch diagonal touchscreen display, which is also featured in the Chevy EV Equinox, which is just an unbelievably large screen that's all tilted right there towards the driver. It's so cool. When you get in it, you really feel like you're getting into something futuristic. The fact that that's in a Chevy is awesome. So make sure you go out and check out all the different types of Chevys that are available to you. And just a great week. This is capping off just a great week in golf. A lot of stuff to still talk about. The Masters is still very fresh on everyone's mind. So
very fresh.
A lot to get to today.
Yeah, we love that 17.7-inch diagonal standard touchscreen display. It's the best in class. Chevy.com/Equinox EVLT. Starting price around $34,995. Your pricing may vary as dealers set the final price. The Equinox EV offers a roomy, no compromises interior, ample cargo room. We love taking this thing around on the road. It's sleek. It's awesome. It's also got the classic, it's classic. It's Chevy, the bow tie. That is Chevy.com/Equinox EV. Check out their product info, their amazing deals, their lease offers. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. This one, dude, you win the Masters. You can do whatever you want. I think you win the career Grand Slam. You change your bio on social to Grand Slam winner. Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We are still reeling from one of the great major championships we will ever witness. We're going to talk a lot more about that. Bryson's comments, some more Rory comments from interviews, just a little bit of kind of the fallout ever since the event. Want to debate a little bit where that thing ranks among the greatest majors of our lifetime. Is it up there? Is it number one? We've got Trent is at the RBC Heritage this week. I believe Beef's out there with him as well, playing in the Pro-Am later today. So we're going to try to connect again with him. Trent did his nice clap, did it early, then came in, then he went out. How you doing, Trent?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I think you mentioned it. I am at the RBC. It's me and Beef. We're playing in the Pro-Am today. Very excited to do that. Frankie and I did it last year. Really fun golf course, really hard golf course, very narrow. It's the day before the tournament starts, so, the conditions are going to be very difficult, but I'm excited to be here. Hilton Head I love it here. Like, the last year was the first year we had ever come here, and I really didn't have a gauge or a sense of what it even was. And then you get here and this is going to be obvious, but it's a little bit of an island. It's got the island feel. We were driving through to go to dinner last night, and apparently they've got an ordinance here where, like, if you see all the fast food places, you can't just stick a Burger King and make it look like a normal Burger King. You have to have it like tropical themed so it blends into the landscape. It's a nice little piece of paradise that I didn't know existed. And as I got to know people, and we talked to people last year and I've been talking to them this year, they're like, oh yeah, this is heaven on earth. So excited to be here, about to get my teeth kicked in by the golf course. We'll be putting something up about that. So yeah, excited to be back in Hilton Head, honestly.
Are you guys paired up with anyone or just playing you and Beef?
Just me and Beef.
Hell yeah.
It's just me and Beef.
Taking a stroll on a PGA Tour elevated golf course.
Yes. It's going to be fun.
It's pretty sick. We went on a family vacation to Hilton Head maybe 20 years ago, 18 years ago or something. Closest I've ever gotten to the golf course. My brother and I ran out onto the 18th fairway and took a cool picture with the lighthouse. Is that a lighthouse that was in the background?
Yeah.
And then we thought about trying to play, and it was like, at the time, it was like $400 plus caddies. We didn't have any money, so we laughed at that and then left. But I remember the takeaway being a lot of what you just described, where when you drive down the roads in Hilton Head, everything is very conforming and done incredibly tastefully. So even if, I don't know if there's like a Walmart there, I don't know what the hell, even if there was, you wouldn't be able to tell because it looks like the same sign, whether it's like dark wooden sign or whatever the hell it is.
Yep.
That blends in with the same sign as like the local coffee shop and the dentist and like everything. And it's like the trees are nice. It's just very, very well done. It's a very like tastefully well done clean place, and you can go to some places that are a little bit dicey. But I remember that from Hilton Head just being like, this place is gorgeous. The little beachy islandy town that does have the lighthouse and all that, and like the cool little shops right there is fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, sad to miss it. Like we're on baby watch right now, but it's an amazing golf course. It's one of those courses too, though, that like once you're out there, it's like not as fun as you always pictured it to be because it's so hard. Like once you're out, like amongst the marsh, I assume that that's kind of how St. Andrews is also similar to that, where like the first couple holes you're so like swept up and just like playing the old course. And then you're on like hole 7 through 14. You're like, this course is just a bear and just not as fun as like all the courses around, you know, the famous stuff, you know, the road hole and hitting over the hotel and obviously going into the town. Same with Hilton Head. I just remember that being just like the thick of that course is not easy, man. Really not easy. The wind is outrageous.
I hope the wind is down today. When we ate dinner last night at an outdoor place and the wind was up, but people were saying that the wind is supposed to be down today. So hopefully we don't have that obstacle. But like you're saying, that course has so many other obstacles that I'm just going to try to manage them and get through it, you know, alive.
That course, isn't that like the most narrow golf course on tour? I think that they play.
It's so narrow.
I mean,
and so windy and so like when the wind is up and you're playing from back, it's like, how are you supposed to play this place?
Yeah, anecdotally, I don't know what the numbers say, but it looks like you're hitting down a hallway every single time. It's got to be one of the more narrow golf courses on tour.
I remember people talking about it that way, and it's a peat dye, so it's up there. You know, people think Kiowa, the Whistling Straits, obviously TBC Sawgrass, and then this is just a very different, not different version. Like Straits, there's not a tree on the whole golf course. Kiowa, there's not very many trees on the golf course. Obviously, Sawgrass has quite a few trees, but it still feels quite open in spots. And then this one, I remember from all the clips, and I've been seeing stuff on social already. Some of those, they talk about that tree cutting across on the tee box on the 6th hole now at Sawgrass. It's like every tee shot that I see from social looks like that fucking hole at this golf course.
Yeah, no, I think I'm probably going to be doing some tree trimming today. I've got that shot where I just started out left and fade it in or slice it in, depending on whatever words you want to use. And yeah, I mean, I remember last year there were times where you just can't really do that. And as soon as you try to launch it up left to bring it back down right, you hit a tree. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm very interested to see, you know, my game I feel like it's in a pretty good place. So it's fun when you're playing sort of well and you can go test it. I had that before Pebble too, where I was like, oh, my game feels pretty good right now. So it'll be fun to put it up against a really difficult golf course. So we're doing that once again today. I really didn't plan out my background of my setup here. You can just see that's my suitcase on the bed. I've been on the road for a while. I just get to hotel rooms now and I just start throwing things everywhere. I don't know what's dirty. I don't know what's clean. I just pick out what I want to wear and I leave. That's kind of the road. That's what I've been doing for the last week and a half. So
yeah, you're at that part of the trip. You're at that part of the trip where that's okay. I think that's allowed. That's
I've been lucky enough to do laundry in a couple of places, but you know, it hasn't been enough. I could have I would need to do all of it, and I'm able to do like little pieces here and there. So yeah, no, I've been on the road for a while, so that's the underwear situation is getting a little dicey, but it's going to be fine.
That's all right. That happens.
I had a tough day yesterday. So yesterday,
what do you mean?
I had a tough day. So I've been experiencing this like back pain, right? Like right underneath like my right ribs in the back. Like if you were to touch your kind of ribs, it's like right underneath there. And it's like a persistent pain. And I'm like, all right, I usually have like, you know, little kind of creaks and cracks and you're able to go to like a chiropractor or kind of just like maneuver yourself around. Trent, we just lost Trent with his microphone. He simply needs to get a new wire. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he has to get a new wire.
It's like one of those things. You just send him a new wire and then that doesn't happen anymore. Anyway, been feeling this like lower right back pain. And like, obviously as I get older, probably become more of a hypochondriac. Like everything you read on the internet, you're like, what is it? What is this? What is that? You have a baby coming. I'm like, do I really want this back pain right now? I'd rather go get it figured out. Like, I just don't want to deal with back issues right now. And then, like I said, it's something that like, I can't like crack it out. Like usually it's like, all right, my neck hurts. I sleep the wrong way. Like you're always able to kind of stretch it out. This one's been just like persistent and like really there. So then I get my physical checkup and like my liver numbers were elevated, but like not too much, but like something like a number that was higher than you're supposed to have. So I'm like, oh, maybe I've got something that's like, now I'm thinking like, is it an organ that's like causing my back pain? Because it feels like interior. I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't feel like it's on like the spine. It feels like it's inside, like the muscle or like something in there, right? I'm like, is it my intestines? Maybe there's something wrong. So I go, my wife works and she does MRIs and CAT scans, like CT scans and all that stuff. So I'm like, oh, well, go to my doctor. I'll have her write me a script and then Hannah will just scan me and like, I'll see what's going on. Maybe it's a slip disc, something. So I'm like excited to get it done. We go, everything gets checked out. I get the script. Then all of a sudden insurance is like, you need to have 6 weeks worth of pain or you have to go to like an orthopedist to like have like to make the, we don't just give out like these scans unless it's like an emergency, right? So I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm not waiting 6 weeks to figure out what's going on. So then I thought it was smart to be like, all right, I'll go to an emergency room and basically say, my back hurts, give me a scan, right? Little did I know that emergency rooms are fucking chaos. I spent 3 hours in an emergency room yesterday trying to get my back scanned. Didn't work. They would not give me one. So I'm like, why did I just come here? They charged me $200. Why did I just come here? I walked in and people are puking on the floor. This little kid was puking on the floor. The mom's scooping it up with a scarf, throwing it in the garbage. This one older woman was just staring at the sky, and the son who like probably lives with her, like the older son, was like, "Ma, you alive?" Like grabbing her wrist, checking a pulse. I'm standing there like, what did I decide to do today?
Yeah.
Why
like,
am
my rib
I
hurts.
Why am I voluntarily here? Right?
My
Because I
back
couldn't
hurts a
sleep the
little
night
bit.
before. Like, dude, it's like
My
no. I would say like
fingernail.
out of
What?
when they ask you like 0 to 10, the back pain like 2 nights ago was legit a 9. Like couldn't sleep. Like 1 hour of sleep, had to sit up. Like I'm like, what's going on? And then you get in your mind that you're like, is it like, do I have an ulcer? Is you know, like you don't know what it is because I'd never felt something like that. And I told the lady, I'm like, I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't think I need to get scanned. I looked around, I'm like, I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't think I needed to get inside a machine and just see what the fuck's going on. And she's like, we just are not going to do that. We're just going to let you just leave. We'll give you some pain medication. I'm like, I don't want pain medication. I want to get the fuck out of here now. 3 hours. They're sitting there waiting for people. They're pricking you. It was, dude, it was really bad. Like that's a lesson. Like as I'm growing up, like you don't go there unless you gotta go there. That was, and my wife was like, I knew it. She's like, you're a fucking idiot. Like she used to work in the ER. She's like, why the fuck would you go there? I didn't tell her. I was like, I'm just going to go get a scan. I'm not going to tell anyone. I called her. I'm like, I just went to the ER for 4 hours. She's like, you're a fucking moron. It was horrible.
I got
Dude.
a question. Like, do they do,
Yeah.
is the ER system run on a priority system? Like if you came in there and you had, let's say, no offense to your situation, but something a little more severe than your situation, would they like rush you to get help, or would they, everyone in the same boat that you're in?
I mean, they had a waiting area with a bunch of just absolute characters, like just
they had you in like, they treat you like it was like urgent care, like you went to the local urgent care.
I mean, I essentially
like,
was in this area of like people have no insurance and they're just like coming in just to get like warm, and like it was just like dude, like I had to stick out like a sore thumb. I'm wearing like a Pine Valley hoodie and like a fucking Masters hat, and I'm sitting there with like a mask on, and I'm like, my back hurts, and people are legit puking and like screaming. One guy's like screaming at the lady, being like, I don't have insurance. Like it was fucking crazy. And then I couldn't leave. Then you can't leave. Once you're in a certain spot, you have to be discharged. It was a mistake, but it was just a chaotic, like, I don't know why I did it. Well, I mean, I know why I did it, but
the joke, not the joke, but it's always like people go there with bullet wounds. Like that's why you go to the ER. The reason you stuck out like a sore thumb is because you basically went in there with a sore thumb and were like, I need to get this thing scanned, and like, how do I need help? And everybody else is like, I'm on the verge of death in here. That's why you go to the ER. You don't go to try to sneak in a back scan.
And then she's like, yeah, it's gonna be $200. I'm like, what? Like, for what? I looked around. I'm like, for what? Like, what's going on here? Am I being punked? Was this the worst decision of my life? So didn't get checked. Nothing happened. So I got to figure out what's going on.
It's funny. I actually had this thought yesterday about you, and you're on baby watch and you're at home. I had the thought of, and I'm not denying that you have back pain. I think that's probably a real thing. But I did think like Frankie Borelli, not on the road, not going to do videos, stewing, is going to have bouts of like either there's something wrong with us or there's something wrong with my body. But I did not think this early on there would be like, I didn't think the story was going to be I went to the emergency room because my back hurt. This could be a long stretch for you. Like, I feel like you're going to get like cabin fever.
Well, dude, I didn't know if it was kidney stones. The pain was immense. So I'm like, there's something wrong. And now, like last night, I actually felt a little better. So like, I mean, like Hannah woke up. She's like, I fucking told you. She's like, right now, it's like, we're just like, things are getting hot over here because my back's hurting. Like you said, it's just now we're just waiting. She's getting like all sweaty and like big. And you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's like this, we're in go zone right now.
That's what I mean. I mean, you just sitting with your thoughts, I think generally is a pretty bad thing if you can't like activate those thoughts. So it's going to be an interesting like month or two here.
I mean, I got cabin fever yesterday. I went from the emergency room to Colonial Springs and I filmed 9 holes with the new TaylorMade R7. Cause I'm like, well, if they're not going to, like when I'm playing, when I'm active, I actually don't feel it. It's at night, which is why I thought it was like an organ or something, like when I'm like dehydrated or something. But like I can actually play the game of golf, no problem. Like the back doesn't hurt. It's a very interesting thing I got going on. But I actually hit that new R7 yesterday because I was like, I gotta hit this thing. And let me tell you, what a golf club. I still don't know if I have the right shaft on it. I'm gonna post a video today. I filmed it like Martin Scorsese. You have to see some of these camera angles I figured out. Like when you have like all the time in the world to kind of set up the camera and like do it on your own. Like I was the last guy out. It was 6:00 at night on a Tuesday night. Like it was fucking fun to be able to film that kind of like on my own and play my own ball and like see how I can do. But that R7, man, it's like an interesting club because like you almost want to use it more than the driver. And you definitely want to take the 3-wood out of the bag because it goes like as far as the driver, but it's way more fucking consistent. My ball flight was like this low draw. And it's like I knew what was going to happen with it. And like I was fine with it going 250. You know what I mean? Like on a regular course that's playing 6,500, it was landing like 255 and just like rolling out to 265. And I'm like, this might be it. This might be the club. There's no left, there's no right. It's right down the middle.
Dude, I was hitting it yesterday. I went to the range with it. By the way, it's the sexiest golf club I've ever seen. I rolled up to the golf course. The outside guys, grabbed the bag. They immediately pulled it out. They go, holy shit, do you have this new thing? I said, yep. They're looking at it. They take the clubs over to the range. When I get over to the range, now the guys that work the range, they start walking over. Legitimately, they start walking over. They go, hey, the boys in the radio were talking. You got that new TaylorMade thing? I said, yeah, I do got that new TaylorMade thing. They all pulled it out. They're looking at it. And I went to the back range where I like to go, just be alone, hit balls for an hour or two. They start coming back to the back range like an hour later. Like, how is it? I was like, I haven't hit it yet. I'm trying to work on my swing a little bit, and then I'm going to hit it. Dude, I was hitting. So there's this flag out there on the range that it was a little downwind, and the flag is 266 out. So I'm hitting driver at that flag all day. And it's like, if I can hit it near, carry that flag, I'm hitting my driver damn good. Some that I skank and hit like shit, they're like rolling up to it maybe, but like, okay, that's kind of my barometer. And then I finally pulled out this R7 quad mini driver. And the first one I hit landed just short of that flag, but like a penetrating draw, like you just said, and just scampered past it and legitimately had to have gone farther than 50% of my drivers that I hit throughout the day on the very first one that I hit. And you tee it low and it just has that feel to it, dude. Like whenever we go somewhere windy, I'm 100% hitting that thing because it is such a confidence booster. It's got that nostalgia, like confidence to it when you look at it. And it was coming off hot yesterday. That thing is awesome.
Yeah, it is penetrating. It really it doesn't go too high. It's an interesting club because you don't know where to tee it up. Like, do you tee it up?
Yeah.
Like my driver, I do like half a ball over like the top of the driver face. So it's like, do you do that with this, but like lower, obviously, or do you really tee it up like a 3-wood just off the ground and kind of like hit up on it? So it was like there was a little bit of a learning curve, but I went right to the first tee. So like my first shot was like this kind of hook that ended up in the fairway, and I was like, all right, if that's going to be like the worst swing I had. Like, I kind of like that there's really not that much of a dispersion. And then the second tee at Colonial, Trent, like Pines, everything's dead left. And like, you got to hit over that bunker. And I hit this towering draw that went over the bunker and chased down that speed slot. I had like 75 yards in on the second hole, which is like anyone that plays Colonial Springs like knows that is the hardest drive in the world. And to like be in the middle of the fairway, and like I started just to get real confident with it. So yeah, no, I'm really excited. Obviously, TaylorMade keeps coming out with like a million different clubs, and people always are like, oh, like how do you have this? And then you also have the QI35. I just think like when you have a lot of club options and like you are a diehard golfer and dedicated to your game, this is a weapon that you should have in your arsenal. Where you said like you look at the forecast, it's windy. You want to keep this ball low. You don't need the QI35. You can throw the R7 quad mini driver in and be just as fine distance wise, but it's going to keep it lower and it's going to keep it a little tighter. I really like having it.
We're also, it's our job to promote TaylorMade stuff. So whatever they come out with, we're going to promote it. If you want to buy it, great. If you don't, totally understand it. Not everybody can buy a million fucking clubs. This thing, I'm obsessed with this thing. I had my boy Odie, James Odie from Bandon, who I went out there, took my boys trip out there last year, and Bandon's a windy, firm ass place, as everybody knows. And I was hitting the burner mini driver the entire trip. And I posted a video of me hitting that R7 yesterday, and he responded to it right away and was like, I can't believe we have a new mini driver weapon for when you come back to Bandon. And he's like, that thing that you had already was your best club. And yeah, look, off the tee too. Like I'm trying to think, because I put this 7 wood in, I have a 5 wood, I have a 3 wood, I have a driver. A lot of the reason I have so many different woods is so I can have more head covers, because I love head covers. I think it looks great on your back. Another one is just as a guy that has learned the detriment of not being able to get off the tee sometimes. The more options you got to just get something in play and be in play is just going to change your round dramatically. And this is another great option. So it's like, dude, if you, no matter what it is, if you're struggling with the driver, you're not confident with the driver, I've been there a million times, although hitting a lot better now, is like the options that you can have to just figure out a way to stand on a tee and be like, okay, I can get something out there between 220 and 260 yards or whatever it might be, and have it be in play, wide on green, is just, you're now playing the golf course, and it's hard to shoot too high if you're doing that. And so more options, the better,
I know there's one of those sitting at my house. I haven't been able to get my hands on it, I want to get my eyes on it.
I didn't even know this thing was coming out. Like usually it feels, holy shit. I saw the little teaser on Monday night, on the little teaser that they put out of just like the weights and the coloring. And I was like, now what is that? Came in, and usually, as anybody would, if I got new clubs coming, it's the only thing on my mind for days until they arrive at my place. I come in, and there's, we have been on the road for a while, road dogs, road warriors, and there's a TaylorMade box with the club-sized box. And it's like, now what the hell is that? Opened it up, couldn't believe when I saw it. And then the next morning, yesterday, they were promoting it, and I was like, holy shit, this is a surprise, like a true, genuine surprise. And I just had to go straight to the range and hit it, and it's fantastic. So highly recommend this club. All right, a couple administrative things. PGA Championship week. So we have we like to do these little events at major championships. We did the live show at the Masters tournament, 3rd year in a row. It went great. We had great guests. People really enjoyed that podcast. We had Brian Harmon came on. He was awesome. The LaCavas, Joe LaCava, his son, both caddying in the Masters. They were out there. It was awesome. Now we do scramble events. We do all kinds of fun events at the majors, get the people going, hang out with our fans, get people hyped up for the golf. We are doing on Monday of PGA Championship week at TPC Piper Glen. I think it's like 20 minutes or so from Quail Hollow, where the PGA Championship is this year. Monday, May 12th, we are doing a noon shotgun for the Crown, the Queen City, for the Crown. 18 holes of golf, lunch, registration, custom player tee gifts, winner prizing, beverages, and a whole bunch more. So this is noon on Monday of the event. And then this thing is going on sale. Bushman, when's this thing going on sale again? The reason I can't check is because I don't know how to get into my email right now. I got a little bit of an email issue
going on
going
sale
on.
this Monday coming up, the
gravy in your throat?
21st. Sorry. The 21st, Monday.
So Monday, you could sign up. These things always sell out, but it's 2-person scramble. That's the format. Monday of PGA Championship week. Everybody's going to be hyped up. Major golf coming to Charlotte. Great town, great sports town, great financial town. I always have Wells Fargo. It's always a bank sponsor in that bad boy. Great state, North Carolina. I love North Carolina. We're going to be there. So that is Monday, May 12th, noon shotgun, all kinds of fun things going on. And those are, don't get me wrong, Barstool Classic's the greatest thing ever. We get so hyped up every time we go to the championship. We blew it up. I want to talk about PGA Frisco and Fields Ranch. That place is awesome, but we were just there on Monday. But this is a little bit more of like, there's nothing to save it for, okay, at these type of events. This is a one-off. It's major championship week. You take a half day on that Monday. You go out there. We're going to have drinks flowing all over the place. We'll be drinking with you, hanging. We'll be doing challenges on different holes, just kind of fucking around, enjoying the time with the people. So, yeah, make sure you're ready on this Monday to register for that. It'll be on the events page. We'll have it tweeted out all over the place, but get ready for that.
Yeah, those are always a great time. It really kicks off the week, especially if you're a local and like this is coming to your town. It's coming there to the Queen City. You know that you want to have a big week. There's really no better way to do it. You meet a lot of the guys that are all just as hyped up for the tournament as you are. And like you said, there's always just great golf happening and a lot of drinks flowing. And it's just a different vibe than the Barstool Classic where it's like we just kind of throw everything at you and we're like, let's just have a party. Really, it really doesn't matter. It's not as intense. It's not as, demanding for the actual score of the day. It's just, let's just have a great time and enjoy the fact that the PGA Championship is in town.
100%. So yeah, it's going on sale on Monday. Be ready. It's going to be a great time. Nico Echavarria. I can never remember which one that is. Which one is it? Anybody know?
It's Echavarria.
Echavarria. That's sort of what I've
Echavarria.
decided is what it is, but that could be wrong.
The Colombian from Medellin. We played in the Pro-Am. We played a great match against him in the Pro-Am at the Texas Children's Houston Open a few weeks ago. That video is out. So again, that video is out on YouTube. It's on all of our different links wherever we put the videos. So make sure you scope that one out. We played a nice match. He's emerging as one of our favorites out there. He's a great dude, great player, playing extremely well lately. Just played in his first Masters tournament. He had a really good performance until Sunday. He fired an 84. I really want to catch up with him. He won the par 3 contest at the Masters tournament. So he's just kind of emerging as one of these guys in the game of golf. We have a great match against him on our videos now.
Yeah, and we really, I thought we did a good job kind of filming because it is a Pro-Am, so you really don't get much access to like bringing drones and like multiple camera guys, whatever it was. So I thought the guys did a good job like showing off all the different types of shots that he hits. He was hitting stingers and really talking through a lot of shots. He really talks through a lot in that match. So, similar to how we've done for years, I think this really like shines a light on a guy that's gonna, have a lot of fans going forward because he will be in the mix at a lot of these events, a lot of these majors. It seems like his name's been in the top of the leaderboard in almost every event that he's played recently. So, just to get to know a new guy on tour, I think it's worth the watch just for that, and let alone the fact that we played the best golf that we've played in a long time.
True.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw for the first time, maybe ever, a tweet from a guy yesterday that was just like, holy shit, Riggs actually played well in that video. And he was like, I'm excited for this year. So that was nice to see. What an edit. Was that Kyle Timms that did the edit on the birdie video?
Yes.
Yeah. Kyle Timms.
Yeah,
it was.
That was a great edit. Well done. Engagement fuel, as we call that in the business. That got the people going. So well done by Kyle Timms. But yeah, check out that video. Like Frankie kind of mentioned, an emerging star. You're going to see a lot of Nico, I imagine, over the next decade of golf. He's a younger guy. He's had a lot of success. Great player. Cool backstory. You don't see a lot of Colombians out there on tour, and he's a great friend of the program. So shout out to Nico. Make sure you scope that video out. And then just a reminder for our merchandise, our spring merchandise is out. We launched it. There's a lot going on with the Masters, with us on the road all over the place, but a lot of great stuff, hats, polos, couple cool hoodies and pullovers. My favorite are the mocks. The blade collars are so sick. Now I think we've made like 4 of them. So I'm starting to get to a point where I know Frankie loves them too. My golf wardrobe is almost exclusively just going to be rotating in these blade collars that we make because they look phenomenal. They're comfortable. They're just like kind of cool without being like, we're not the coolest people in the world, but like they make us look cool enough that you feel like you're kind of checking that box a little bit with them. So anyways, spring line, store it at barstoolsports.com, hit the golf area, the foreplay area. We've got all of our spring drop and then all of our best sellers, all kinds of good stuff's in there. Head covers, which I love. But yeah, just a reminder to check out the merchandise.
The hoodie that Trent's wearing, that's got to be the best. I mean, I know we say it and I get some flack from it all the time, but it's our merchandise team's fault. Like they keep making it better. Like these are our own threads. They're not partnered with anyone. This is the stuff that we make. That hoodie is as good of a hoodie as the premium hoodies that we've always pushed from other brands. Like it is our own. It's got this like gel raised logo on the left breast that is so high quality, so high class. It is a performance hoodie, but it's a little bit thick enough for you to wear it where it's like not hugging you and like suffocating you. Like for me, I could wear a large, and it's like a little bit. It's perfectly. Usually I'm a medium, but it's a nice form fitting, flowing hoodie, and it's so comfy. I'm telling you guys, like that is definitely the highest quality hoodie we've ever made. It has to be.
Yeah, I love this thing. I would be showing it off more on the camera, but I'm afraid my cord's going to fall out. But the hoodie is real nice. It's real comfortable. I'm wearing it to play out there today. It's going to be like mid to low 60s, maybe high 60s as the day goes on. It's a perfect thing to wear out there when it's just like a little chilly. So yeah, check out all the stuff, especially the hoodies, because this stuff is really good.
All right, boys, let's talk about getting your money in the game the right way. There's a lot of talk about money right now. You know how we obsess over every read on the green. We obsess over every club selection. We obsess over every single wind adjustment. Well, trading crypto is the same. You need precision, you need reliability, and a platform that actually works when things heat up. You can buy, sell, and swap over 300 cryptos, whether you're stacking Bitcoin like it's a Sunday pin placement or hunting for the next altcoin play. Kraken's got you covered. Kraken Pay is instant crypto payments. Send and receive payments in seconds. There's zero fees. Settle bets with the boys. Split the tab after 19 holes, or pay for that emergency mid-round Bloody Mary, all without the hassle of traditional banks. Kraken's the place to go, Frankie.
Really is. You got to get involved. Obviously, the world is moving towards this stuff, and if you aren't getting involved, then you're just going to be too late. Got to diversify, is what they say. You got to have different money and different types of things. You got to have crypto. You got to have stocks. You got to have the whole entire deal. So Kraken is the way to go. Dave Portnoy's been on it with DDTG. You always see him pushing Kraken. And it's just at Barstool Sports. This is something that we've had a great partnership with them for over a year now at this point. So it's been a great partnership, great company. Definitely the leading edge in this crypto exchange.
And here's a little bonus out there for the squad. Kraken is rewarding up to $200 in USDG when you share your referral link with family and friends. Help them get in the game, and you earn rewards just like a friendly skins match. So if you're getting into the crypto, play it smart. Go and get on Kraken, lock in your strategy, and let's send this thing. Head to kraken.com/Barstool. That is Kraken, KRAKEN.com/Barstool, Kraken.com/Barstool. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss and is offered to U.S. customers, excluding Washington, New York, and Maine, through Hayward Interactive Incorporated. Get the greatest game in golf gaming, and it is PGA Tour 2K25. I'm finally home. We're home. Not all of us. Trent, poor Trent's on the road. Beef's on the road a little bit, but I'm home. Was able to fire up my Xbox, get back in the game. PGA Tour 2K25 is awesome. I've got the bug, not just the video game bug, but obviously the golf bug. Watching the tournament all weekend, just being hyped up and then being able to be out there hitting the shots. For a limited time only, you can get 15% off, by the way, the standard edition digital PGA Tour 2K25 on all platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. Discount based on 2K's SRP. Digital only. Offer ends April 23rd, 2025, and terms apply. But this is the best game, PGA Tour 2K25. We're having a blast playing it.
Oh yeah, and I mean this game they update it so many times. So when you're hearing this 15% off, like get involved now if you haven't already gotten it, because it's only season 1 of this game. You know that season 2 is going to be coming out with a lot of cool stuff like they always do. So I mean, I enjoy the hell out of it. We've got the Barstool Golf Society, over 20,000 members in there. I'm going to be doing a little 4-play verse in there today, firing up a nice little 9-hole match against the golf course, see how low I can go on master difficulty. It's very, very hard. You get no information. You're literally just playing real golf. So you do have that bug. You play in real life and then you go and play 2K. You put it on master difficulty. Oh my gosh. Like outrageous how hard it is. It really feels like when you hit a good shot, it's so rewarding. You can play society events. You play Divot Derby online. My dad plays every single night. No matter what age you are, you can figure it out. And then you want to get better. Like for your first round, you're going to shoot a 91, and it's like real golf. Like, how do I get into the 70s? How do I go below? How do I go below par? How do I go on the PGA Tour circuit? I want to start in the Corn Ferry. And they have all these events, all these big events, the elevated events. You play Copperhead, you play all these different courses. You go to Detroit, and then you go to the Tour Championship. And like they got majors in there, they got everything. So it's great. It's absolutely fantastic. I love playing it. Join the Barstool Golf Society, get involved, get the merchandise. Great game.
Fantastic time. So make sure you go download it right now. Buy PGA Tour 2K25 now.
Now, are we surprised that Rory McIlroy will not be at the RBC Heritage? It is an elevated event. Just won the Masters. I think they were tracking his jet, and it just landed in London yesterday. Maybe he's going back to Northern Ireland. So he's not in town. Are you guys surprised at all that he's missing that, or this celebration week is warranted?
No, I think it's pretty warranted. I think he skipped this a couple of years ago too when it was an elevated event, I believe, when he had a pretty poor performance of the Masters and then skipped it. He got some flack because that was a little bit more in the thick of it when it came to him having answered for months that we want all the best players to play against each other and show up more frequently, and then he didn't show up. This one, dude, you win the Masters, you can do whatever fuck you want. I think you win the career Grand Slam, you change your bio on social to Grand Slam winner. I think you deserve probably to go off scot-free and be able to roll into the UK where you're from and celebrate with your squad. I think everybody's kind of okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I put myself in those shoes. I'll never be in them, but if I were to put myself in those shoes, that's what I would do. I would be I'm going home and I'm gonna see everybody and celebrate. I know. So Scottie won it last year, and Scottie then played and then won. And I understand there'll probably be people people bought tickets for the event and they want to see Rory. I totally get that, but I also very much get Rory's side of it, where it's listen, man, I just accomplished something that there was a real stretch there where I didn't think it was going to happen. I want to go home and celebrate with a bunch of people that are close to me. So I'm fine with it. I think Scottie is here again this week, so there's still a pretty good field, a lot of big names, but Rory will not be one of them. But I think that's just fine.
Wonder if when you win a tournament, it becomes like a burden that you have to show up the next year and do all this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm assuming Scottie would have obviously went because he went after he won the Masters anyway. But when you win the RBC, you got to go hit the shot with the plaid suit on and the whole deal, next to the cannon that we did last year.
Yeah.
And it's very strange for a past champion to not attend that the next year. You know what I mean? It's almost like a risk when these guys play certain PGA Tour events. If they win, they got to show back up next year. Didn't Kiz win the Detroit class, the Detroit one, had to keep showing up?
Well, you are on a lot of the signage. You get heavy signage when you win the tournament. Especially a guy like Scottie, who is he's the guy. So yeah, they're going to put you on a lot of the signs, and you probably feel an obligation to go back.
Totally.
There was a year where Kiz, remember he won the Wyndham Championship in a playoff when Adam Scott missed that short putt. It was a 6-person playoff or something.
Yep.
And he won the Wyndham Championship. That was right the same weekend that I drunk tweeted that if he didn't get on the Ryder Cup team, I was going to root for Team Europe. And then he won that weekend. And I remember him being I saved your ass. Well, then the following year, we had the Barstool Classic in Pittsburgh on Monday. And he was of Wyndham Championship week. And he was I'm playing in that Barstool Classic. And then the Wyndham Championship was all right, we're not going to have our champion here until Tuesday because he's playing in this Barstool event. If we send a jet up to Pittsburgh to take Kiz, can you bring rigs with you back to the Wyndham to help us promote the event for a couple days since you're not going to be here at the beginning of the week? And we were absolutely. So Kiz, I remember, played in the Barstool Classic in Pittsburgh, and then he and I jumped on a Honda jet that took him to the Wyndham. And I remember him that night, man, him being I just got to the Wyndham Championship. My family's here. I've got kids everywhere. I got obligations everywhere. I'm so hungover from everything that we just did in Pittsburgh for a day straight. So yeah, to that point, I'm not saying he wouldn't play because Sedgefield's a Donald Ross course. I think Kiz plays that tournament every year anyways. But yeah, he had to roll in and be the guy all of a sudden, which was a very funny dynamic for our guy Kiz coming from the Barstool Classic.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. You win, and it's just your schedule for next year just kind of gets a little tighter, which obviously is expected as you win on PGA Tour events. You're going to be playing in more of them.
It's a good problem to have.
John Deere Classic's a great example of that. People, if you win the John Deere Classic, you got to play in the John Deere Classic every year.
Yeah,
you got to show up.
I don't think that fits into the category that we're talking about, but yeah, sure. You know,
All
it's an
right.
honor and a privilege.
I want to talk a little Masters stuff. Few things that have rolled out, in the old social media world since we did our quick reaction show to Rory's victory. The Bryson clip. So a lot of people were chatting about this. Bryson in his interview afterwards. We could play it. I sent it to Mr. Alex Bush, but Bryson kind of spoke about what the entire day was like with him and Rory. So let's just hear this from Bryson, and we can kind of react to it.
When you're trying to win a major championship, especially out here, Sunday of Augusta, the Masters, you have to just do it and get the job done and do it right. There were times where it looked like he had full control, and times where I was like, well, what's going on? So it kind of looked like one of my rounds, actually.
Did you speak to him in there? How's he doing? Do you know?
No idea. Didn't talk to me once all day.
What was the atmosphere like at RBC?
Electric. I loved it, but he was just like, just being focused, I guess. So it's not me, though.
Just on 15, when you're 3 back, thinking eagle possibly, what's going through your mind?
Yeah. Trying to hit the green up close. I was on a side slope. I got to work on side slopes with my irons. Felt really uncomfortable on side slope, and then I go stuff one on the next hole. It's just the side slopes not being comfortable, and there's a lot to take away from this week, a lot to learn, a lot to be proud of, a lot to be pissed about. But I've learned a lot, and I'm ready to take the challenge on again.
Did you try and initiate conversation with Rory at all?
He wouldn't talk to me.
Okay.
What an interesting
demeanor.
What an interesting guy. I was thinking the same thing, Frankie.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows what he's trying to do. Like the part where he said like something, then he goes, "It's not me. It's not me." Like is he saying
that ain't me?
That ain't me. That to me is like a guy who's like, no, I like to interact. I like to whoop it up. I like to be out there interacting with everybody, including the people I'm playing with. But I don't believe him. I don't believe him whatsoever. He can put on that face as much as he wants. I just don't really believe it.
Yeah. Even on the Golf Channel live from set that literally sits at Augusta National on the driving range or tournament practice area, I believe is what they call it.
I don't understand that, by the way. They literally say like live from the range, and like on the app it says the range. So like,
and then you have to
I've been
refer to it
confused.
as- Yeah.
I've been confused about the tournament practice facility stuff.
Interesting.
That one might be a little more gray area. It's a good point.
Yeah, because I was throwing that around a lot, like on Sunday, trying to like say that to people, and then like they would say like Justin Rose is on the range. I mean, they never said tournament practice facility ever, never once.
Good, because I don't like that term. Range is just universal. It's the range.
It's the range.
They must think like they're thinking like range. When you say range, they're thinking like that you're equating it to that driving range at like Torrey Pines. It has like the net. They're like, this ain't a range.
Yes,
brother. But anyways, they up there were on again, like credentialed, have the access to be at Augusta. They were talking about how and debating, if Bryson's whole like personality shift is fake or what degree of it is, fake. My takeaway with all that part of it is just that like Bryson has always been a weird fucking dude. And just because he's really, really popular doesn't make him not weird anymore. Like you could still be crazy popular. You could still have this YouTube channel that people love. You could be more relatable than you've ever been. You could be a man of the people going out there with the U.S. Open trophy after you're victorious. He went to Pinehurst on Monday and showed up and dedicated this plaque and re-hit the shot. He was signing stuff with everybody right after 12 hours after absolute heartbreak at the Masters and clearly being pissed off with the way that he played. So you could do all that and still just be a weird dude, So I don't know that a certain fake, I think, is a little bit strong, but is it like purely genuine? I don't believe it is. And when he slides that little comment in there, like you said, where he's like, that's not me, where he's just comparing it, is such a weird move. Now, I do think he, the clip wasn't as bad as everyone was kind of making out to be in terms of like dogging on Rory, because he did begin that, which didn't get showed in the clip, where he said, he's like, I wanted to cry for him on 13. He was like talking about kind of like witnessing when he kind of realized he was probably out of it, witnessing Rory trying to get over the hurdle and what that was like for him to witness it. He was very compassionate sort of towards Rory. There's the famous story from 2019 that Tony Finau told about walking down the 7th fairway with Tiger and talking to him for the first time, saying, "Hey, Tiger, how are your kids?" And Tiger looked at him and just said, "They're good," and then didn't say another word to him the entire day. And we all looked at that clip as like, Tiger fucking Woods, Savage, Terminator, Darth Vader, fuck yeah. And then, this is trying to get painted in some circles like Rory was a dickhead for not talking to Bryson, which it's literally the exact same thing that Tiger did. So I could not possibly have cared. I didn't expect Rory to talk to Bryson. I don't expect it. Rory's trying to get through his own demons. He said in all of his interviews since, he's like, I was so nervous all morning. I was so nervous on the first hole. I got a little bit more comfortable after the first hole because I made the double and was like, oh, all right, like that's about as bad as it gets, so whatever. But he's so nervous. He's got all the weight of the world. He's doing the Bob Rotella thing. He's writing inspirational quotes in his yardage book. He doesn't need to be talking to Bryson DeChambeau. He's out there trying to get his shit done. And so then it just becomes kind of a conversation about, like, what do we think about what Bryson had to say? I did think, like, I never seen Bryson. He got a pretty good chuckle out of the gaggle there when he made the comment about, oh, it looked like one of my rounds. Thought that was actually like a genuine little line that Bryson delivered there. So it was a weird little clip there from Bryson. That's kind of why I wanted to play it. But to me, it's also like he's just always been a weird dude, man.
Yeah, it just felt like to me, and I could be thinking too much into it, but Bryson knew that he was going to get asked about what the interactions were like with Rory out there. And I think he, in his mind, was like, I can use this as an opportunity to be like, he didn't talk to me all day. I'm not that guy. I like being out there and talking to the guys and talking to the fans and just sort of positioning himself in the way that he sort of has over the last 2 years or so, where he puts out all these YouTube videos. He shares the U.S. Open trophy with everybody. He high-fives every single person he sees. But like you're saying, Riggs, he's still the guy that we've known forever. And I know we've dogged him in the past, but like at a certain point, he is who he is. And when he tries to change it and position himself like he's wearing a leather jacket, smoking a cigarette, it doesn't work. And that was really what I took from it. And as far as Roy not talking to him, I totally agree with the Tiger part. Like, bro, this guy's trying to get the monkey off his back. Like, this is the biggest tournament of his life. It's the biggest round of his life. He just wants to focus on what he's doing. And for Bryson to try to turn that into like, that ain't me, was very, very weird.
Yeah, I mean, why do we care who talks to who? Like, that's the weirdest thing ever. In any sport, would they ever say, like, the guy didn't talk to me? It's so bizarre. What do you want him to say? I mean, he's going out to try and win the Masters, the biggest thing ever. The fact that they don't talk makes it so much more meaningful to us as viewers. But it's like these guys are competitors. They're trying to beat each other. It's me versus you. I'm not asking you, how's your house doing? You're still hitting over it. Like, what are they going to talk about? You know what I mean? I got a little thing in my throat.
We have these, like, what was their? Oh, I guess they weren't at Pinehurst. They weren't paired up, were they? Or were they?
No.
Okay.
He was ahead of him.
Yeah, that's right. Then never mind. I was gonna be like, what were those conversations like? But they weren't paired up together. Yeah, totally. It's like they don't have to talk to each other. They really don't.
Yeah, and it seems just, I don't know, like, not fabricated, but
performative.
Yeah,
it was a little performative.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I mean, everything that he's done since he's been in like the good graces of the public has been performative and kind of thought out and planned. Where like after he won the US Open, he went up to a kid live on TV. It was like, you can achieve any of your dreams if you just try hard enough. Like little things like that, where Bryson was literally walking into like ropes and like screaming at people and like was getting called Brooksy and like was the most hated guy on tour just like 12 months prior to that. So it's like
not yelling for. I mean, remember he's hitting bombs into crowds and not yelling for at all.
Not yelling for. It was just like sending missiles into the crowd and saying that he's trying to do it because that's the best way for him to that's the best line for him to take. Was that on 8 at Pebble where he was just launching it?
Sorry, wasn't it Torrey?
6 at Pebble?
I thought he was doing it at Torrey where he was.
Wasn't he hitting it left on 6 at Pebble, like just like up there on that hill, and was like, "That's just like where I'm going to hit it." And if people are there, like, I'm sorry.
I think so.
But yeah, no, it's just I think people that have been that have been here for a while, they can see through it. But I also am not opposed to it. You're allowed to like change your personality, and you're allowed to like change the way that people see you. I mean, he's just had a nice kind of comeback. I've been a fan of Bryson since he's done all this stuff. I watch his YouTube videos. I think he's been great. He's great with all of the YouTube collaborators. I think that he's great for the game. It's just, when he has little comments like this, like you said, it's like you're not smoking a cigarette leaning up against a fucking Hollywood set. Like, it's like you don't need to be this serious about like doing the whole like
And
shit. Like
that was
he was
and to
doing
his
weird shit
like,
with his mouth. It's just like it's not that serious, man.
And to his credit, or whatever word you want to use, it's gonna work. Like the three of us sitting here talking on microphones, like Frankie said, we've been here for the whole time, so we know what it was like in the beginning. We know what it was like in the middle, and we know what it looks like now. But to the general public, him going and high-fiving and doing all the things that we have mentioned throughout this discussion, that's going to work. People are going to be like, oh, I love Bryson. That guy's awesome. And then, because they're not going to granularly go through like, what did he used to be like? Oh, he used to answer things like this and used to run into ropes. And it's going to work. He's he's pretty much the most popular golfer on the planet outside of Rory. And there's even a discussion there. So you change enough and you put out your own videos that you can edit and do all that stuff. That shit's going to work.
Am I going to be the asshole that says like, hey, maybe like high-fiving every single person as you're walking from green to tee is like maybe you lose a little bit of focus and that's why you kind of had a bad Sunday? I don't know. Like, is he going to go back and be like, maybe I need to find a zone? He hasn't won the Masters. He's obviously won, US Open, but like, I don't know. Is there a part of him that's like, maybe I do need to kind of lock in and find that? He says it's not him, but I'm sure that wasn't Rory forever. And he needed to go to a place to be like, I need to overcome this thing and beat this golf course. It's me versus the golf course today. I'm going to do everything I can to beat it. Just like Tiger Woods used to do. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it'll be funny to see in like 4 or 5 years over the next, half decade, if Bryson's in contention at the Masters, if his kind of demeanor kind of changes to try and win this thing.
Yeah. And, I saw some clips from Padraig Harrington was going off on him, being like, this guy, he was like, I can't believe this guy's changing so much about who he is as a person and as a golfer in this effort to like prove to everyone that he's something. His point was like, he's like the third hole, for example, he's like, I can't believe he's laying up on the third hole where the layup and the wedge are both really hard shots. And Rory pounds driver down there, chips it close, makes the birdie. Bryson makes bogey. And he was like, he's trying to reinvent himself, not just personality-wise, but even as a golfer, being like, okay, I was able to outmuscle Pinehurst, and I was the brute, and now I'm also going to be this crafty, like touchy-feely guy and think my way around the course. And he was like, that's just not your game. And like, and sort of Padraig's whole point was like, that's very indicative of who he is as a person. That he's like always kind of trying to change and reinvent himself. And like, instead of just sticking to who he is, where it's like, dude, you fucking pound the ball. It's Augusta, pound it down there, try to hit it close. And he was like, I thought that was, on 7, he was like, I think he bogeyed the 7th hole as well. And on 7, he like, oh no, he hit actually a sick bunker shot on 7, but 7, he's like hitting an iron off the tee. He's hitting like 5 iron. The hole's like 450. And I get it's a tight hole, but he's hitting iron. So anyways, Padraig's point was just sort of very similar to where it's like he needs to kind of like look at what's worked, which is like US Open, pound the ball down there, and then just like play your game. And he's trying to be all kinds of different things at once, which I'm sure is very distracting. And it's like he might want to look in the mirror and be like, well, Rory locked in. And yeah, he clearly had some hiccups and whatnot, but ultimately he got it done. Bryson didn't have a good day. And he might want to look at that going forward. But I thought that clip, it's getting a lot of attention for a lot of different reasons, but hard not to talk about that one.
End of the day, this guy's just unbelievably good for the game of golf, for better or worse.
Absolutely.
He's always making some sort of comments. He's always in the mix. He's dominating YouTube golf. He's winning major championships. He's in the final pairing at Augusta. He is a star. You know what I mean? Like Bryson DeChambeau
superstar.
is a fucking superstar.
Like none of these opinions that we have
wouldn't change
like,
a thing.
No, none of these opinions we have are like, I wish this guy wasn't a thing. Like I'm fine with that. We just talked about him for 20 minutes. Like he's super interesting. He's always been interesting, and he will continue to be. So I love that Bryson is involved in golf. He really is great for the game.
I do too. Now that I've had a little bit more time to think about this Rory round, everywhere I've gone, people have brought it up to me, and we've talked about it a lot. Had a conversation on the phone yesterday with a guy who loves talking golf, and we went like for 20 minutes unplanned, just going shot for shot, talking about the round and how nuts it was. And what the big takeaway I've had in the last couple of days since this tournament concluded was that round of golf, and it really, I know Dave weighed in, just being like, he's not a Rory guy, which is fine. There's a certain faction of guys that are not Rory guys, but talking about that round of golf and being like, he's just not the guy, with him making those kinds of mistakes. That sort of thing I've kind of grappled with a little bit of like, it was so awesome. He got the career Grand Slam done, but it did feel like there was a little part of you that was like, but I can't believe he got it done with like basically giving away the tournament 3 times or so. And I wasn't sure how that sits with me. And the more that I've really thought about it, that round of golf was so perfectly reflective of who Rory is and what has made Rory so a little polarizing, but also just popular. And that is that, like, Rory is not a robot. Rory is not this robotic golfer. And we have seen many players come through and close out golf tournaments, big golf tournaments, in a robotic, sort of like meticulous way where, they hit it in the middle of the fairway, they hit it in the middle of the green, they attack when they're supposed to, but they don't make big mistakes. Sure, they talk afterwards about how they were very nervous on the inside, but on the outside, it doesn't look like they're nervous at all. It looks like they're just locked in. They're just trusting the process and this and that. And, we've all seen that a million different times. Very impressive, but it's not the most riveting golf to watch. Whatever. Rory has never been that way. Rory, even with the media, Rory with his personality, Rory is throwing clubs in the water sometimes. Rory is almost fist fighting Joe LaCava after the Ryder Cup. Rory is answering questions year after year after year in the most thoughtful, like candid way that he can. He's not giving canned media prep answers. He's up there just kind of putting it all out there. He's an opinionated guy. And yes, that turned some people off. There was a time where he very much felt LIV was bad for the world, bad for from a morality standpoint, bad for golf, and he let everybody have it. When he won the Canadian Open, his first answer in his post-round interview was to take a shot at Greg Norman about how he had more tour wins now than Greg Norman did. Like, that is who Rory is. And that came out in that round of golf, where Rory is not this guy that could just go out there, shut it all out, not showcase or appear like he's nervous at all. Yes, he tried to be as locked in. Yes, he was the opposite what Bryson just said in terms of like he's trying to just focus on the golf. And he's trying to do that so badly because he struggles with that. And you could see that he struggles with it. He looked white as a fucking ghost. He looked nervous as could possibly be. When he hit the shot in the water on 13, they cut back to him and he's standing there with like his fucking head over his hand or his hands over his head like, oh my fucking God. And you could just see it on his face. You could see that he's conscious of how much all of this means. And then yet he would follow up like an ultimate choke job with almost this internal like other side of him fighting, trying to come out that is purely great and hit this unbelievably awesome shot and then not make the putt. And you're like, that, even though that came off very almost like off-putting in real time of like, no, you're supposed to be the great guy that buries that putt. What is it? The more I've just thought about it, talked to people about it, it's like that was Rory's personality coming out also in his golf game under the biggest pressure in the biggest stage of his career. And he still somehow got the damn thing done, which was absolutely amazing. It was incredible that he overcame it. I saw Jack Nicklaus's comments being like, he's like, I got to be honest with you, like I'm giving Rory even more credit that he won the way that he did because 3 or 4 times in that final round alone, everyone's thinking that's the kind of mistake that nobody comes back from. That's the kind of mistake that nobody wins a golf tournament from. That's the kind of mistake that people don't win another major championship after they fuck that up. And he did it 3 or 4 times in one round and then somehow came out in the playoff and Hitman made fucking birdie, hit 3 perfect shots and won in the biggest moment of his life. And so I guess just the more that I've looked at all the Dave comments and I've seen people kind of react to the round being like, I cannot believe he won. It almost feels like he didn't deserve to with all the mistakes. I just think that's almost like if you've been following this journey for 15 years now that Rory's been on the biggest stage in golf. He's been playing as a professional. He's been winning major championships. It has been a roller coaster ride. It has been, he builds us up. He makes us believe. And then he rips our hearts out by like just coming up short and does it with all the emotion in the world out there and visible and commenting on it. That was like, it's almost more fitting that he won that way. And I'm almost like more comfortable with it in some kind of, I guess, than I was on Sunday, kind of feeling like I wish he had held that 4 or 5 shot lead and just put an exclamation point on it and won by like 6. Like that's kind of how I felt in the moment. Now that I've had time to digest it, I guess I'm just more like, it's almost better and more Rory that it happened the way that it happened than the other way around.
Yeah, I think a big part of Rory's appeal and the reason people stick with him is knowing there's brilliance in there in his golf game and constantly wondering if it's going to come out in the big moments. Like that has been the thing forever. Like he won 4 majors by the time he was, 25, 26, and the brilliance was on display constantly. And then for whatever reason, I mean, he still won a ton of tournaments over the last 10 years or whatever and would showcase that brilliance, but it wasn't on the biggest stages. So people are always, I mean, like you're saying, that last round was a microcosm of his game where there's flashes of insane golf brilliance. Certainly in the Saturday round too, the way he starts, you're like, I mean, if this guy would play this way every day, he would win every single major in every single tournament, but that's not possible. But with Rory, he can have stretches of that. And you're just hoping that it comes in the right moments. And then you watch Sunday and you see the way he plays 13 and you're like, fuck, there's the guy that we don't want to show up because it's going to, where is that brilliance on 13 on that wedge shot? And then you watch 15 and then you watch the approach on 17 and you're like, that is the guy that we all want to see. And he stumbles every once in a while, but just knowing that it's in there. And if it pops up at the right moment, we are watching a truly, truly historic golfer. And thankfully he was able to do it on that Sunday and win the Masters. And I totally agree with what you're saying on he's just very authentic. And when he's in front of a microphone, he can be as articulate as anybody. He's a great orator. Like he's like a president where he talks sometimes. And then sometimes he puts his foot in his mouth and you're like, fuck, you said that. And then, 2 years later, that comment looks ridiculous. But in the moment, he thought it was the right thing to say. And I just think you're right. With Rory, you're just always hoping that the brilliance is going to shine through, whether it's on the golf course or in front of a microphone. And that is what makes him interesting. Just knowing that it's in there and you want to see it all the time. But with him, you're not going to get it all the time. But when you get it and when it hits at the right time, he completes the career Grand Slam. And it's the greatest Masters, certainly since 2019. And it's one of the greatest Masters victories of all time. And that's what makes him interesting.
Yeah, it's the ups and the downs. And especially over the last 11 years of not winning majors, you started to assume that he'd never be able to do it. So that adds to his personality, his character as you're watching him, as you're a fan of him, or if you're not a fan of him. You have all these thoughts about him. And then even more recently, like at the Open Championship and then at the US Open and then at the Masters, historically, there was always these moments and flashes of greatness and then everyone getting on that hype train and then him just kind of derailing it and crashing towards the end. So this was like the pinnacle, the peak of the ups and downs for him. And it's like everything led to that moment in that playoff and everything led to that moment on 13. There's reasons why it happened because there's so much baggage that he kind of has in his career of like all these mistakes that he's made on the golf course and just not finishing out championships and not finishing out tournaments and having a chance, being so close and not getting it done. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change a thing about that round. I've even, I've actually debated with a couple guys about 13 and I'm like, how could you even go into that taking your foot off the gas? And I've been told to kind of look at it the other way. Like hindsight's obviously 2020, which I'll be getting Lasik on Friday. So hopefully 2015. Shout out to
what a time
the
for
Della
you,
Russo Laser Vision. Can't believe I'm doing that.
Don't go to emergency room for it.
I'm not going to go. No, hopefully that goes smooth. I think it will. But, hindsight's obviously 2020 and like you see what he did and you're like, how could you do that? But imagine he rips driver, goes for it in 2, hits the water. You have a 3-stroke lead. You're like, why are you playing that so aggressive? You could, depending on the outcome, you could completely tear him down for his decision-making regardless. He just happened to hit a bad wedge shot. I've been really on him for the decision-making, like hitting a 3-wood and then laying up but I think that if, just like Harry Diamond said, if you gave us that position on Monday saying, hey, we're on the 13th tee with a 3-stroke lead, how are we going to play this? You're probably saying we're playing it pretty conservative. You know what I mean? Like
sure,
we're going to birdie 15. Like we can make a par on 17. We can make a par on 18, like 16. We can make a 3 on. Like if we just get through this hole, like
we're going to
nothing bad happens. We're going to win by 4, 5. Like guys around us are going to try and take risks on 15. They're going to go for the pin on 16. Like things are going to happen and you're just going to like win. And I think that probably was a good decision. It's the right, like, stay within your body decision, I think, and like not go too crazy. But yeah, I mean, everyone's going to have their opinion on him, and that's what makes Rory great. You either love him or you hate him. It's like he's basically a political figure. I mean, he's going to have 50% blue, 50% red. Rory McIlroy, he has, for better or worse, got himself into that world because he's made his stances and he's made his comments, and he's been the prince of the PGA Tour, kind of taken over that role, and then now he's not, and he's been wronged, and just what a life, man. I mean, you want to talk about the fact that you can make a movie about Tiger, you can make a movie about Rory McIlroy.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
So Riggs and I had this discussion at PGA Frisco. Frankie, I'll be interested in what you think. Like, we talk a lot on this show about what makes something meaningful, whether it's the Tour Championship, TGL, individual people, whatever. And I think the answer ultimately is time. And that's, nobody gives anything any time anymore. Like, you just want something to be meaningful right now. Like, we just want it to matter right now. But we don't give it like the gestation period where you think about a guy like Rory, and like you're saying, everybody has an opinion on him, but that's the point. Like, you can like him or not like him. It's these other things that pop up, whether it's people or new leagues or big tournaments that just haven't been around as long, where people are kind of like, yeah, I don't really have an opinion on that. And Rory is like the epitome of that. Like, everybody has an opinion. He's had the ups, he's had the downs. And like the thing that Riggs and I were talking about, like, who's next? Like, who even in sports still has the sort of history that people are like, man, I want to see this guy succeed. Or even people being like, I like it when this guy chokes because that's who I think he is. Like, Rory was certainly the last big one in golf, and Riggs brought up Josh Allen with football, like him going to all these, AFC championships and getting his teeth kicked in by Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's kind of maybe you like that, Alex Bush? That's sort of the guy who now people are, I would say people are rooting for him to get that done because people really like Josh Allen. But largely the point was like, if you want something to matter, for better or for worse, the thing that it needs is time, and for people to just watch something unfold that they have never seen before, or whatever it may be. And I just thought that was an interesting discussion that Riggs and I had.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's like LeBron when he was going to win his first championship. There was like this whole storyline that he couldn't get it done. He had to go to Miami, get all these guys with him to get it done. Couldn't do it in Cleveland. That is, all those years of not being able to get it done led to that type of hype and that massive moment of, can this guy get it done? Rory, similar. I mean, Jordan Spieth is there, but just to compare, like, he's not even close to the ups and downs. He just kind of goes away. Like Rory, even though he went on that drought, was still the best player like in his generation.
Right.
He's winning tournaments, winning tour championships, on the top of the money list, like just absolutely, in Ryder Cups, like just absolutely in the thick of it, at the top of his game, and not winning. So yeah, it's a very unique situation. He's polarizing. They put a mic in front of his face at every event and ask him, what do you think about the state of the PGA Tour? Like, they don't really ask that to the everyday golfer or the Jordan Spieths or the Justin Thomases as much as they do for him. After every single round, it was like, what are your stances on where the world of golf is going? And he had to tell him, like, this is my opinion. And everyone's either shitting on him or they're loving him. So wow, what an absolute story for this guy. I wouldn't change a thing, just like I wouldn't change a thing for Bryson. This is just great for golf. It's like we lived in a time of just a hell of a player. Like, you have your Arnies and your Jacks, and that whole entire era of golf seemed to be unbelievable with all these characters. And we have, the Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroys and the Bryson DeChambeaus. There's always something going on, and there's always something to talk about. We've done this show since 2017. It's still firing on all cylinders because these guys keep making things memorable. If Ludwig Oberg wins that Masters, it's a great Masters, but and if Rory never makes if he doesn't get hot on Saturday, it's just like, this is what history is right here. This is the juice, and he makes it happen.
Yep.
And whether he collapsed or he won, it was going to be history.
Correct.
Yeah. And people knew that on Saturday. People started tweeting that out, saying that, like, okay, we're now in this territory. This is either going to be the most heart-wrenching, devastating loss of Rory's career, or this is going to be a top 5 most historic Masters in history for a positive reason. And to speak to that about Rory, like, we have so many athletes, public figures, politicians, whomever, who it's very annoying when they answer questions or do interviews and say nothing. And there's a lot of people that are pretty damn good at that, and you don't get shit out of them. Rory is the opposite, and what that comes with is putting your foot in your mouth, like Trent mentioned earlier. I pulled up a few. In 2009, Rory said, the Ryder Cup is not that important of an event for me. It's an exhibition at the end of the day. Obviously, I'll try my best for the team, but I'm not going to run around and go fist pumping. He read that quote to himself a few years ago, and he's like, God damn it, who said that? And he was like laughing that it was him. Reminder, Rory literally cried after the 2021 Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits after his singles match when they lost because he was so devastated about his own performance. Came back a couple years later, and like I mentioned, in the old car park, was ready to kill Bones and Joe LaCava and everybody. In 2023, I believe it's 2023, it might have been 2022, but Rory said, I believe there's no one that will go to live. It's dead in the water. In my opinion, I just can't see any reason why anyone would go. That obviously a couple months later, people started going. We've got John Rahm, Phil Mickelson, Cam Smith, all kinds of people have been there. After the 2018 Ryder Cup, Rory McIlroy literally began the team press conference after they won in Paris, France, with where is Alan Shipnuck? Because Alan Shipnuck, after the U.S. had won in 2017 President's Cup so dominantly, Alan Shipnuck had written that for the next decade or 2 decades, Team USA is going to be impossible to beat, and Rory and them dusted him. Rory began his press conference at the Masters tournament on Sunday evening when the green jacket introduces him and says, oh, Rory, you have any comments? And Rory begins it with, I'm going to start with a question. What are we going to talk about next year? Because he has in his mind such a fuck you to the media about all the noise and all the hoopla and everything. And so the reason I bring all that up is just the context for this man is that he is not some, recluse when it comes to being aware of everything that's going on. He is not detached. He is incredibly attached to all of it. He knows the noise. He knows the comments. He knows the storylines. He knows what everybody's saying. He knows what everybody's thinking because he's thinking it himself. And all of that comes out in his round of golf that he played on Sunday. It's like it's all there. It's all on his brain. And I just think it's such a cool thing to have one of the biggest stars in the game. Tiger Woods feels like a different species, and it feels like we'll never be able to relate to whatever the hell's going on in his brain when he's winning golf tournaments. Rory, it to a degree feels so relatable because it's like that's what we would be doing out there. We would be thinking all the shit that he is thinking. We would be aware of all the stuff that he's aware of. And I get why that's polarizing to whatever it is, a quarter of the people that are not big Rory fans at this point. But man, for us, for people that follow the game day in, day out, and for whatever reason, just are huge Rory fans, I am. It's just the reason that I love and root for the guy is everything that happened on Sunday, and I just cannot get over how good of a finish that was. I listed a bunch of I was trying to go through like the last 20 years, basically since like we've been watching golf. I think I've really been like watching golf for about 20 years and trying to think of where this ranks in terms of the best majors in that stretch. And there are some good ones. You really do forget how many good majors there are out there, but it's really hard to beat what we saw this entire tournament.
Yeah. No, he's just an incredibly interesting sports figure. And that's, that Sunday was really, really a special day. We're going to be talking about it forever because it was so cool. It really was. And I'm on TikTok a lot, just like when I'm taking a shit or just when I'm on an airplane or something. And there's so many Rory edits out there that are incredible. And now I'm just getting fed like emotional Rory Masters edits. It's fun. It's a fun time to be a Rory guy for sure.
See the guy at the piano, the guy that like a year ago or so wrote that song about Rory with this piano, and then someone edited that song. Like he wrote it right after the U.S. Open heartbreak.
Ben
and
Rector
posted it. Oh, and then someone edited that in with all of the awesome footage from Rory's celebration, relief, whatever you want to call it, after he won. And that one really got me going. How about Ken Griffey Jr. being the photographer that's getting all these photos out there?
Awesome. So random.
What planet are we living on? What simulation are we in, Frankie? That is just, you can't make that shit
Him
up.
and Randy Johnson both do it. I guess that's just when you have so much money and you retire so young when you're a professional athlete, you just pick up new hobbies, and photography seems to be a go-to for some of these guys. Randy Johnson, have you ever seen him at the NASCAR events?
Yeah.
It's like the funniest thing ever. He's huge.
He's got
he's
what
like
a
laying on the
vantage point he's
ground.
got.
Oh my god, dude, he's outrageously large compared to the other guys. It's so great. Ken Griffey's. You had like the backwards hat, looking in that massive lens,
Crazy.
just like that guy. Smoothest swing in baseball. He's just taking photos of Rory now.
Oh, it was so good. A couple more things I just wanted to mention from Rory. He had a great little story that he said, he was asked about his parents. Said, have you talked to your parents yet? He said, yeah. My mom just wouldn't stop crying. And then he's like, my dad told me it was the first time ever that his dad watching Rory play on TV just had to pour himself a drink during the round. he was like, he just couldn't handle it anymore. Had to pour himself a drink. Rory also made the comment, which we talked about a lot on the last show. He literally used the phrasing, and I'm not going to make him pull up the whole clip, but he literally used the phrasing, I feel like I'm playing with house money now. I'm going to be really freed up going into these major championships. But I couldn't believe he literally used the phrase, I feel like I'm playing with house money now.
There you go. And it is. I'm very interested to see how he does the rest of the year in majors, as I'm sure everybody else is, but crazy.
Yeah, he wins the PGA, and it's now like everything revs up, like it's that all that hype starts to rev up just like it does in each tournament. Like if he has a lead on Saturday, all the hype leads up to Sunday. If he wins that PGA going in, wow. I mean, it starts to get real serious going to the US Open.
Is he the favorite going into it, or is it still Scottie?
Probably going to be pretty close.
I mean,
it wasn't like,
if you had to ask me, I'm saying it's Rory.
Let me see if I can find it on the DraftKings Sportsbook here quickly while we're doing it.
Vegas, though. Vegas fucking...
They're tied. They're both at plus 500.
Wow.
Jesus. The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. I cannot wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Here's something also special for first timers. New DraftKings customers, you bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Once again, new customers, DraftKings customers, you bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Shout out to DraftKings because the foreplay crew, we had 3 winning tickets on Sunday. Masters tournament, Rory McIlroy, just as exciting as it could possibly get. Yes, I was nervous for golf history, but man, just looking at that ticket Thursday, he makes those 2 double bogeys to finish. You're thinking, oh my God, it's over. He comes out, plays flawless on Friday. Saturday, he's 5 under through 5 holes. I'm like, oh my God, we're back. And then all the chaos on Sunday made that much better by having some skin in the game with DraftKings.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you are so much more dialed in to every little aspect of it when you have a little skin in the game. We all obviously were on the Rory train. You're on it for weeks leading in, and you're just thinking about it. How's he going to play? And then you start to watch it unfold. It makes it that much better. The highs and the lows. You're on that ride with him. So either with that, and then you got hockey playoffs coming along. You can still bet futures for Stanley Cup winners and all of these things. You got the NFL season coming around. There's a lot of things that you can do here. When one event ends, the next one starts. So for me, I'm always on the app looking at what the next best thing is. And the live betting for me is like the best. The Knicks go down in the first quarter. You hit them. They go from a favorite to an underdog in a blink of an eye. They have a strong second half. They win. You win the bet with plus money. It's the best feeling.
Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code FORE, F-O-R-E. New customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. That is code FORE only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Golf is hard, everyone. We all know that. It's hard for everybody, even the best players in the world. But getting your protein can be easy. I'm holding right here. I got the 1 Hershey's protein bars, the Reese's, the cookies and cream. These things got 18 grams of protein and only 3 grams of sugar, and they're also delicious. This is the perfect, and I mean the perfect golf course snack right here.
Really is. I mean, you get out there, you're in the middle of the golf course, you've got no food in sight. You know that dinner's coming later after, but you don't want to eat something too big. Just something that gives you energy, holds you over, gets you to the car, and you know that you have dinner later on. Like, this is literally what I felt yesterday. Like, out there at 3:15, not knowing what I was going to eat. You get a 1 protein bar out of your bag. You have that piece of chocolate. Oh my gosh, that Reese's peanut butter. Oh my God, it is so good. It's only 3 grams of sugar, 18 grams of protein, fills you up, makes you feel like you're eating something that's really going to be solid. You go out there, you have energy. I'm telling you, this is like our second year now with 1 protein bars. Of all the brands, we love every single brand that we work with. Obviously, you're out there hitting TaylorMade golf clubs, but then also like how incredible our lives have been having so many 1 protein bars around us, because I genuinely do love eating them. I love tasting them. I love performing on them, because I do think that they give you a lot of energy and protein, and it's been great. It really has. I don't go to a golf course without them in my bag.
That one also has other delicious flavors: birthday cake, maple glazed donut, and blueberry cobbler. Buy new 1 Reese's Peanut Butter Lovers protein bar on Amazon. Again, you can get it on Amazon.
What'd you think of the, I guess it wouldn't be called backlash, but the comments made about Scottie when he put the green jacket on Rory? Everyone thought that he was being like disrespectful to him by like not congratulating him or saying anything. And then Scottie had to like come out today or yesterday at the RBC and be like, yeah, I just like tried to get out of there and be as respectful as I could and let him have his moment. Like I didn't want to mess anything up. So I just kind of put it on him and just left.
Oh, I didn't see the backlash to that.
Dude, I honestly, I saw the backlash and people commenting about it, and I watched it, and I don't know, maybe I'm just not that perceptive, but I didn't see anything there at all. I thought,
I didn't either, but I think maybe I think Scottie consciously tried to just like get out of the room, and it did almost look like he had like no smile on his face at all. Put it on Rory, like they kind of struggled, and Rory kind of like laughed, and Scottie like didn't. I think he was super nervous. Scottie looked like he was gonna puke, and he's just like, I don't want to mess up what is a historical moment. This guy just won the Grand Slam. Everyone's watching this right now. I'm in the cabin. Like, this is fucking crazy. And I got to put this on this guy. And, but then I guess the contrast to like how excited Scottie was outside when they did the outside one, like Scottie hugged him and like gave him a high five and was like, it was like, so I don't know if he was conscious that he like messed up in there and then was like overly congratulatory outside. But
look,
I didn't see it. I mean, Scottie Scheffler's the nicest person on the fucking planet. If you're giving him any sort of grief over the way that he put on the green jacket at Rory McIlroy, you're just looking for something to complain about, because there is nothing there. He just got nervous. He put it on him and he exited the room. My other question was, where was the low amateur? How come he wasn't in the room? Was there not a winner? Were they all tied?
I don't think anybody made the cut. Did nobody make the cut?
Oh, so that they don't even do the guy that was lowest.
That's a good question. I guess you must have to make the cut. That's a good question.
Because going into the weekend, I remember I think like Saturday, I remember it being like, I haven't heard a thing about any of the amateurs, and I just assumed they all missed the cut. I don't know. But then when I didn't see one up there, I was like, oh, they must have all missed the cut. And
the guy who pissed in Rays Creek wasn't an amateur? No.
He was.
Amateur, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
And he didn't make it to the weekend, right? No.
No, I don't think any of them did.
Lowest AM was +4 and missed the cut.
All right, so you got to make the cut if you want to sit in Butler Cabin.
To be frank, too, like the Butler Cabin thing is the weirdest situation in the history of sports. I mean, we talked to Doug Gim about it on this show, and he was like, yeah, dude, you finish. They like race you in there. They give you like 100 instructions. They tell you what to look at. Remember, like Neil Shipley last year was like staring at the thing on the floor, and like, dude, it's just the whole thing is weird. So when you're the amateur, it's really, I'm sure, really weird, because you probably feel like, boy, do I not deserve to be in this room. It's like Jim Nance, the chairman, the former Masters champion, and the new Masters champion. And you're like, I shot 7 over. I can't believe I'm in here, whatever the hell it is. And then when you're like Scottie, you're like, dude, I finished my round. I'm pissed off. I didn't win. And I got to go like be in this weird cabin. So that part of it's like weird. And then the whole thing, even when it goes really well, it's like so quiet in there. You can hear everything because they got all the microphones. Dude, you can hear like when they like put their hand on the jacket, you can literally hear the contact between the hand and the jacket. And then like trying to put a jacket on another man in general is fucking hard. Like it's just weird, and like where his arms flail and where you think they're gonna go. Like if you've ever been a best man or done that for a buddy in like a wedding party, it's weird to do with your buddies. Now you're there in Butler Cabin and like you're trying to, plus like if you're thinking about how to put a jacket on someone because you're so awkward you're going to mess it up, well, then you're really going to fuck it up. It's like if you're sitting there, you're trying to like instruct someone on how you tie shoes, then all of a sudden you just like forget how to tie your shoes, you know? It's like now he's trying to put a jacket on somebody. So the whole thing's weird. So bottom line, I give Scottie a pass for that one because I think he recovered for the practice green one. He nailed that one.
100%.
Much ado about nothing, in my opinion.
I mean, I think he actually had to make a comment about it today.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. People get up in arms, I guess, about it.
I want to credit Justin Rose. Justin Rose did he did media on, he did the press conference right afterwards for 15 minutes or so. He was all class in there. And then, I believe what he said to Rory after, he had his little hug, embrace, dap up with Rory, as he said, he told Rory, congratulations. And I just want you to know it's very special for me that I'm even on this 18th green to witness such like history in golf. So for Justin Rose to say something like that to Rory in that moment, I thought was all class for a guy that must have just been, 10 minutes before that, he's thinking he's going to win the Masters tournament. Not even like maybe a minute and a half before that, he's thinking I'm still going to win the Masters. And for him to kind of say something like that to Rory, go do the presser and handle it incredibly well was very classy from Justin Rose.
That is.
Yeah,
that's all.
I've got nothing wrong with Justin Rose. He was great on Full Swing. He's got a good little family there. The story of him just like getting on the Ryder Cup and like how much it means to him and like staying kind of on that team and keeping his game to the level where he can be, a really big contributor and even fucking make it to the playoff of a Masters 2 times in the last, in 2017 he did it and now he's doing it again in 2025. This guy just keeps playing pretty damn good golf.
Really damn good golf. Really good golf. Really solid. He looks, he looks like
how old is he?
He's 44.
Okay. That's about
older
right.
than I would have thought.
Actually, probably older than I would have thought. Yeah, I would have said like 40.
Yeah, he looks good. He's 44. He's hitting it damn good. He was in contention at the Open. He almost could have won the match. Yeah, he was badass.
He's quite the character, though, with the crowd, man. Like, he takes his fucking time, by the way. Like, holy shit is his process long. When he was doing that in the playoff hole, I was like, this guy is going to be getting some tweets about pace of play because you're on the biggest stage maybe in golf in the last like 20 years and you're out there just, you don't give a fuck. But then did you see when like every time on a tee box, he's either telling people to stop making noise.
His
and
caddy
even
kept
on the
doing
playoff one, he told people to tighten it up so that they could get the sun. They could block the sun. There was one sliver of sun going on the tee box in the playoff tee box. And he's like, could you all just, and he went like this, tighten it all up. And he made human beings, he made them all just stand and block the sun. I was like, if you're a Rory fan, you just take a little peek to the right and the sun kind of bleeds
right
out
in his
onto the ball.
backswing, like, here comes the sun, Beatles style.
Again, I'm not an advocate for it. It should never happen. But how incredible is it when we watch something that insane and that important in history and no one fucks it up?
Nobody.
It's unbelievable.
How unbelievable are humans that we go to the Masters, Rory McIlroy goes to putt for the biggest putt of his life and no one goes, blah, like something crazy. Some idiot doesn't ruin history. There are so many idiots in the world, and I'm going to keep having this take every single year when we watch something that important on those tee shots. It's dead silent. You're telling me there's not one guy out there that's like, I will die for Rory McIlroy. I cannot have him lose this. And then when Justin Rose takes that club back, they just go like, go away. There's something crazy.
I mean, I guess we did see it at, what was it, the Travelers a year ago or 2 years ago with the protesters. So there's, it happens, I guess.
That was like, but that wasn't, I guess. But like, they were just trying to mess with the green. I commend humanity. We are better than we think. Like, I am proud to be a human being that we can all congregate around a green and everyone, 30,000 people go to the Masters, 40,000 people. I think they let in like a day or something like that. I don't even know how many are around 18. Let's call it 20,000 people are all just dead silent. That's fucking stupid how nuts that is.
It's also on that tee, if you even dropped a drink on accident in somebody's backswing, it would affect golf history forever. And like you said, dude, there are people, even if you're the second or third row deep of people on that tee, if like at the top of Justin Rose's backswing, you just went
crazy.
Like he's literally hitting it off the planet, and you have changed golf history forever.
And no one should ever do this. This is not. We're not advocating for.
It's amazing it hasn't happened.
It's fucking amazing that it doesn't. There are idiots and morons out there in every walk of life, in every event. There are people getting dragged out of baseball games. You got the Yankee fans who were grabbing the ball out of Mookie Betts' hand.
He's got no right to the ball.
He's got no right to that ball. But like, you understand what I'm saying? You got streakers during football games. You've got hockey. In hockey, they're throwing octopuses on the ice in Detroit. Like, it's amazing.
Like what's stopping? The only scenario I guess I could see is like a 95-year-old guy who's like, I've done nothing with my life, not a thing. I haven't made an imprint on society or culture in any way. I'm going to go to the 2025 Masters, and during the playoff hole when Rory McIlroy is teeing off, I'm going to scream my lungs out and be the guy so I can be remembered.
Dude.
Because it's, and it's not like if that happens, like Rory or Justin Rose, they're not like, oh, tee that up again. That guy screamed your backswing. That's just, you got to go. That's it.
It's over. No, it's over. Dude, like think about it. Steve Bartman is so famous. Frankie was him for Halloween not that long ago. And
that's right.
So you
Me and Dave were both Bartman on the same day.
You could legit go from obscurity to world famous by just making a noise at a certain time.
This does make me a little nervous. Like, I hope there's no psychopath that's listening to this. Like, I hope, don't even make this a clip, Alex Bush. Don't even make it a clip.
Do not clip this. Yeah.
Like, it's not supposed to be, we're not advocating for this. We're not saying, that, because this is where it starts to get scary. Some sicko is like, oh, is this how I get to like be like, you know what? It's actually making me a little nauseous.
Right, we'll stop
talking about
I know.
I'm saying it's amazing that in golf we get it. It's worth talking about because it just shows how respectful people are for the game of golf, that the biggest moment that they've all ever witnessed, they are dead silent for. In every other sport, you're screaming your head off in the last plays. The Chiefs are going for the Super Bowl. You're going nuts when he drops back and throws that touchdown.
Yeah.
Someone hits a home run as the ball's in the air. You're screaming like you're going to pass out. When the Islanders score a goal, I literally have like a heart attack at Borelli's restaurant. Like as it's happening, we're screaming as he's going down, cutting into the slot and taking the shot. In golf, we're like holding on to each other, dead silent. We let the moment build and we do it and we let it happen. And then we are elated at the end. That's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing that it works.
It is.
All right,
it's beautiful.
I got to go shoot 120 at Harbour Town.
Yeah, I think we're done here, man. I mean, I don't know. You got anything else there, Riggs, or what?
It's been an hour and 20 minutes. I mean, we got a few things we could talk about real quick. Trent,
let's knock it out.
You go play your golf tournament or go play that course.
Go
that course
play.
is sick. I hope you light it up, Trent.
All right, boys.
I hope you light it up.
Harbour Town.
All right. Peace.
I got just a couple more things on here. The PGA Tour is allowing rangefinders. So this week, PGA Tour is going to have rangefinders. I believe they're doing a 4-week, 6-event sort of test thing with the tour, a couple Corn Ferry Tour events, and then they're just going to like stop it, I think, and then take all the feedback. I just quick quote from one of the tour reps who said they're going to have an extra tool in their toolbox for 4 weeks, and we're interested in hearing following that period. How was it? Do you feel it was beneficial? Do you feel it helped you with pace and play? I think that's an important point to make about this. There's a beginning and an end to it, and then we're going to take that time to really cram the data and take a look at it. A lot of the players' reaction has sort of been, we don't know if that's going to really help pace and play. They said if you're way offline, I believe Scottie said, look, if you're way offline, the rangefinder helps, but pretty much we're still going to walk off yardage and use our yardage book like we always have because that's what we base everything off of. So we're not going to change that right now. And then Scottie also said something to the effect of like, he's like, let's say a round of golf is taking 5 hours on tour, and then this rangefinder thing makes it go 20 minutes faster. Is there really anyone who was watching golf at 4:40 that was like, I've got 4 hours and 40 minutes to watch, but now that it's 5 hours, I'm not going to watch? It's like, I don't really see that point. But they're allowing rangefinders for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I said good right when you said it, and then you think about it more, and it really takes away like the beauty of the caddy and player conversations. It really makes the caddy
kind of does
like not useless, but like it really, your conversation and your communication with your caddy is based off of trust and knowledge that they know the numbers. They know when they walk it off that this is it. You're confident that you have this number to the front. Maybe your opponent doesn't. You're both hit it in the same spot. They're saying it's 131. You're saying it's 133. Like, that's a huge difference. Now, you still can have that, right? Like, no, like you're still, like you said, you're still gonna have to walk off things. Like, you're still gonna have to know the paces off of the edge of the green where the pin is at and have that conversation of how much you want to hit it. But dude, these rangefinders are so elite now. I mean, you can hit like the tops of the mounds and know what it is to cover a bunker, and it is going to eliminate a lot of the communication between caddy and player. But does it really make a difference in terms of pace of play? Probably not. I mean, you're talking seconds for every single shot that you're taking off, but I guess the ones it does help is when you're behind a grandstand and you don't really know it, and the guy's got to go out to the middle of the fairway, walk it off, walk it to you, and it's like it turns a 2-minute shot into a 12-minute shot where you're talking with rules officials and where do we go, right? Like that is where it becomes a lot. So maybe it'll help as long as they can still keep up that communication with the caddy.
Yeah. And look, the caddies have all the numbers from, right? Like, they've done all their homework on if this is 135 to the middle, that means it's, 126 to cover the front edge, so they know all that stuff. So they're not going to change that. But it is like if they have the number to the pin and they're way off in the right trees, or Jordan Spieth when he hit it off the planet at the 2017 Open Championship, and I believe it was the 14th hole. That took like 20 minutes because they got to get a couple drops, and then they had to, poor Greller's trying to get yardage. He's like running up to different slopes instead of like he could run up to the top of that slope, laser the pin, turn around, laser Jordan Spieth's bag, bang. That's our number to the pin. So it'll probably help with that stuff, but we'll see. Folks, we watched the final round at a venue that is unlike anything I have ever seen before. We were at Cosm, Dallas, myself, Spider, Trent, Beef. We had a big crew in there. A bunch of fans bought tickets and came and hung out and watched the final round of the Masters tournament. This place is insane. The dome that they have in there, I haven't been to the Sphere in Vegas yet, but I don't know how it could be any better, any different. This dome, they put this little highlight package together for us, and you go to cosm.com, by the way, for a full list of upcoming events. You get tickets at cosm.com, cosm.com. But they put this highlight tape together in this dome for us to get like a full look at what it's really, really like. And you're on the sidelines of a college football game. They had your courtside at an NBA game. You're sitting right behind the net during like a Connor McDavid breakaway at an NHL game. They had Trent, his performance from Sawgrass, and his performance on the 17th hole. They had his tee shot from behind the tee on the 16th hole when Frankie had him hit an 8-iron 141 yards to like practice. Dude, they had all that footage in this dome from the Cosm cameras that are out at these venues. It's insane how cool it is, Frankie. Insane.
So they had their own camera angle of Trent's shot?
Yeah, they had the own camera from behind the tee, and then they also had it on. Dude, they had the camera angle from like your chair was just to the right of the 17th green, like where the 18th or where the Sunday pin location is, like just like you were sitting in the water, just right of the green. They had this camera angle. So they had like a box in box screen. They had you and Trent on the tee, and then they were showing the main visual in the dome was the green, so you could see Trent's ball land on the green as he hit, and then the camera angle on 16 was like you were a patron standing behind the tee box when Trent hit the 8-iron on the 16th hole. It was insane how cool it was.
How do they get the access to do all this stuff? It's insane.
Dude, I don't know. I guess like they were saying they have a deal with the venues and with the leagues or whatever to have these cameras in these spots. Oh, dude, the one in the NHL game when I think it was Connor McDavid, like they just showed one of his breakaway goals real quick, was maybe the sickest thing I've ever seen, because hockey in person, as everybody knows, is like the biggest difference of all sports. When you see hockey in person, it's insane. And like we were fucking there. It was like we were at the game.
That's nuts. I got to get there.
It is cool. Very, very cool. And then we watched, they have like this stadium seating on the other. It's a huge venue. So they have the dome, where whatever's going on in the dome, obviously, once you buy your ticket to have access to this entire venue, You can go roll into the dome. They had great food. They had great drinks. And then on the other side, there's all kinds of other action. They had like the stadium seating on 2 or 3 different levels that had giant TVs where we were watching the Masters. They had like the Lakers game was on, hockey games were on, so you could watch all of it at the same time. Really, really cool venue. So it's this immersive sports viewing experience in the dome and multi-view experiences in the hall. Make sure you head to cosm.com for a list of upcoming events and to get tickets. That's cosm.com. They just announced a mixed team golf event for the 2028 Olympics, which is very cool. It says the format for the mixed team event will be 1 male and 1 female player who are already qualified for the individual Olympic competitions. And it will be a 2-day format that will include an 18-hole foursomes, which is alternate shot round, and an 18-hole 4-ball, which is just best ball round. Each nation will only get 1 team, and it'll be played in between the men's and the women's individual tournaments. Just a very cool thing to think of, like Scottie Scheffler and Nelly Korda teaming up for Team USA is fucking awesome and very badass to think about and envision. I think it'll be great for the women's game to like elevate a bunch of the, LPGA stars, to expose them to sort of an audience that roots on the men's game. I think that'll be great. So just had to kind of mention that.
Yeah, and it's more golf during Olympic week, so they're expanding it. They saw some sort of positive feedback from having it in the Olympics the last couple times. So I think this is great. I think it's going to give guys more chances to win gold medals, and I think they'll be jacked up for it. Where is the Olympics again? Is it here? Is it in LA?
Is 2028 LA? It is. Oh yeah, Riviera. They're playing at Riviera.
Unreal. Crazy.
So yeah, that's going to be sick.
That'll
and
be
then
great.
we've got the World Cup in 2026?
Yeah, I think that's going like MetLife and Jerry's World all over the
Going
country.
to Kansas City. That. I believe there's a couple Canadian stops for that too. So the World Cup. So yeah, we get World Cup and Olympics coming here pretty soon. Actual last thing we forgot to mention this earlier, just the ratings for the Masters. Ratings came in. They were massive. Averaged 12.7 million viewers, which is up 33%, which is huge from last year. Peaked at 19.5 million viewers. It was the most viewers since 2018, which is when Patrick Reed, he beat Ricky Fowler by 1. Spieth was charging that year. Rory was in the final group with Patrick Reed and came up short. That averaged just a little bit more than this year. It was 13 million viewers. Sunday's final round drew the largest streaming audience for a non-NFL broadcast with Paramount Plus. It was their largest audience ever for a golf event on Paramount Plus. And, I know a lot of people thinking like the 2019 Masters maybe could have been bigger. It was in the morning. It still had a huge viewership for that. But if folks recall, they moved it to the morning instead of the afternoon because of impending storms. So when you have a 9:30 a.m. final group tee off on a Sunday morning, you're just not going to draw the same audience as you are when it finishes up in prime time. But that still had a big viewership. So yeah, Masters ratings were fantastic.
Yeah, I'd have to think around like 1 or 2 o'clock when Tiger finished up. That peak was probably historic number.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know where they're coming up with all these, like the 19 million peak, like how many people are streaming, watching it on, if it's on CBS and you're watching it on like the CBS app, is that the same as watching it on TV and like streaming and getting it on cable and people going out to bars and watching it like it's only on one TV? You got a million people in all these different bars, right? Like it's just it's interesting how they do all the numbers, but obviously a massive Masters.
Massive, as big as it gets. So yeah, what a week. What a week. We're going to try to get some guests on more in the next couple of weeks and talk about this Masters. Reached out to a ton of folks and hopefully get some more perspectives and whatnot. But the rest of the golf season, insanely exciting to think about, with Rory playing as well as he is, with a couple of the venues he mentioned in I've been watching every interview I can. And one of the interviews, I think, with Sky Sports, he already mentioned how excited he is for Portrush. He can't wait to get there. The fact that he's going to be going to Royal Portrush, back home country, with this weight off of his shoulders and coming for vengeance. They were just there in 2019. Part of me feels like that was 100 years ago because the COVID year. Part of it feels like it was just yesterday, but Shane Lowry won there. Quail Hollow, we mentioned, is in like a month, and he won his first ever PGA Tour event there. He dominated. I think he's won like 4 times there. He won there last year. Remember how dominant he was in that last round with Xander Schauffele? He was taking it insane lines. Like, Frankie, we stood on that first tee during the President's Cup a couple of years ago and watched everybody hit it towards those bunkers left. And Rory's first tee line was he just hit it over all those trees way right on that first tee at Quail Hollow last year in that elevated event. So the fact that that's the next major championship where he's had a ton of success, that course is like made for him. That's going to be a problem. Oakmont, who knows? Oakmont's just impossible, but it's typically pretty damn long hitters that win at Oakmont. It was Angel Cabrera won there, and I think 07. And then DJ famously won there in 2016 when he got that stroke penalty, but it didn't matter. Those are two insanely long hitters. Tiger Woods was very close in the 2007 one. Can't remember who else was all up there in 2016, but I was just trying to think about caliber of player. But point is, long hitters win at Oakmont, and Rory's the longest driver of the golf ball maybe in the world. So those three major venues still being out there is phenomenal. It's a Ryder Cup year. So great time to be a golf fan. Ratings were awesome. And yeah, I think that's all we got, my friend. You got anything else? Oh, St. Louis Blues clinched the playoff spot last night. I just want to say that real quick. St. Louis Blues won 12 games in a row, and then they went 0-2-1. They had to win in regulation last night to guarantee a playoff spot, and they went up 4-0 and made it to the playoffs. So we're going to play the Winnipeg Jets. So
shout out to the Blues.
Let's go Blues.
You guys don't have to, but do you want to do one voicemail or German guy reach back out?
The German guy.
Yeah, from the guy. Oh, he did the license test or whatever it is.
Yeah, the license test. He reached back out.
Save it for when Trent's back. We'll save it for next week.
Perfect. Okay.
Nice tease. I like that.
Matt Martin. Shout out to Matt Martin. Most likely going to be finished with the New York Islanders. They just played their last home game last night of the year. Didn't make the playoffs. This is like the worst season they've had since like 2021. So it's been like, even before that, when Barry Trotz came in, like the Islanders have definitely turned the tides a little bit. And then this year was a major step back. Crazy amount of injuries. They didn't play with their defense since like game 3. Their full defensive core didn't play together at all all year. Matt Barzal missed 40 games. He had something with his kneecap here that left him out for the rest of the season. Then his wrist.
Did he miss that many games? I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, 2 different major LTIR injuries. Our backup goalie Varlamov, who's usually Barzal, I think is 25, 26.
Jesus Christ, that's insane.
26 maybe. But yeah, so obviously a huge step back. But Matt Martin, I think he has like 985 games played as a fourth line grinder. I don't know if he'll get to 1,000. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what his plans are. But just an awesome New York Islander for me to watch my whole life. Number 17 going out there with Cal Clutterbuck and Casey Cizikas. They would literally line them up against, like, if you were in the playoffs against the Caps, they were going up against Backstrom and Ovi, or they were going up against Malkin and Crosby. Like, they would send out our fourth line to set the tone. Like, singing the national anthem with Matt Martin out there with his hair flowing was always like, we're coming to war. We're not sending out our best players. We're sending out our toughest players. And that was always Islanders hockey. So shout out to Matt Martin. Good player, even better person. It's just it's sad that this team didn't get it done. They came very close to Eastern Conference Finals, and sucks. But this is life. Now he's having twin boys, just like our boy Rone just had. So shout out to Matt Martin and Sydney. They're about to have their third and fourth kids, so they have a full boat. He'll be busy, even though he's not playing hockey. If he isn't playing hockey, and shout out to Rone, Adam Ferrone, his wife. 2 beautiful baby boys just born. Just unbelievable how many twins are being born right now. Even in my life, I've heard so many people having twins. It's crazy. But yeah, Rone looks like he just looked like it. I texted him like, you were born to hold those 2 sons walking out of the hospital.
True.
Like
that picture was great.
One in each arm.
Was so good.
Oh, so good. So good. So that's all I got. All
right, everyone.
Oh, and I'm getting surgery on Friday. So shout out to Della Russo Laser Vision. I'm trusting them with my vision. I'm literally walking in and being like, give me vision. And then hopefully, and I think so, it'll just work. So by Friday afternoon, I should be able to just see, which is
That's
crazy.
Insanity. Next time we do this show,
I can't even wrap my head around it.
You will have natural, perfect vision next time we do the show.
I'm looking at you right now. Like, I wasn't wearing my glasses. I can see you, but like, I'll see you in HD with nothing on. Like, it'll be fucking crazy.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, Frankie. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with your surgery.
Thank you.
All right. Enjoy the RBC Heritage. We will be back next week. What a Masters that was. I love talking about it. I'm sure we're still going to talk about it for years and years and years and years. Congratulations to Rory. What a time to be a golf fan. It's springtime too. So get out there, buy that merchandise, get ready for your tickets to purchase for the PGA tournament for the Crown. That's going to be available on Monday. Check out our videos, our merchandise. Thanks for listening. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.